But I think this homestand is huge. And I'm sure we'll say that about other things coming up. But right now, though, this is it. This is 3 against the Red Sox, then Baltimore comes in, then the Cubs come in. What a great homestand that is, by the way.
Very good.
I don't care if you're mad at the Cardinals or not. That's just a great homestand. I mentioned at the top of the show, the Cardinals had a chance to sweep a series, and for the 5th time they lost the game that would have given them the sweep. And it's just very irritating because their efforts in these games, their performances in these games have been really, really poor. And I do appreciate that they were able to salvage that trip because it was looking like Sunday afternoon when they're down 3-0, it's looking like they're going to get swept 4 games in Milwaukee. And then it's going to be a disaster probably. But I do appreciate that they came back from that and they won 3 of the last 4. Okay. I mean, but they're still in worse shape than when they left town as far as the standings and where they are under 500. But Ali Marmol seemed, I mentioned this, he seemed really pleased, maybe too much for my taste, but I understand. He thinks his team got better. He thinks the offense is waking up. So he's feeling good about it, and I'm not going to mock him for that. There were some things to like. I do think let's not get carried away because you can't pick on like 2 games, maybe 3 games, and say, "Oh, see, we're back." No. You're not back. Not for 2 or 3 games where your offense wakes up, especially against a hideous Anaheim team. And oh, by the way, where was that offense last night? Oh, that's right. They were taking called strikes all night. So I'm not anywhere near to a spot where I'm going to declare, I think this offense is finally in place. I think it's finally got it all figured out. No way. Not because they beat up a terrible team in Anaheim that can't pitch. And the guy last night who cannot pitch made them look like idiots. 26 called strikes. Or 21, sorry.
It's still ridiculous.
21. And then 33 overall when you throw in the bullpen. Oh, my goodness.
It's an awful staff.
In the Cardinals this season, by the way, just to add to that, there's only 6 teams in the majors that have more called strikes than they do. And if you get into strike 3 called strikes for strike 3, you're out. They're pretty high up on that list too. You want to change the offense around. I think even back when we all were playing Little League, the coach, whoever he was, would tell you, Goodwin comes in there, you hit it. That's when you swing.
Yes.
I mean, listen.
Down there, you be swinging, kid.
Yeah, he throws you one of those right down the middle. You swing. You be ready for it. You swing. I don't know. Could one of their 3 or 4 hitting coaches maybe reinforce that lesson, or I don't know. Anyway, so rather than get all sassy and get too overly critical of Ali being a little too happy last night, because just that loss was horrible, 7-2, just horrible. It was a mail-in job. And that's what bothered me. All right. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They can interpret it as they want. I can interpret that road trip as I want to. Jim Heuer can interpret it or categorize it the way he wants. Everyone listening has their own view of that road trip, no matter what it is. The beautiful thing about all these opinions, because I'm sure there's a lot of different opinions, and that makes the world go round. The great thing about that is it doesn't matter from the standpoint of who's wrong, who's right, because you know why? They have a 9-game homestand that opens tomorrow against 3 really good teams, 3 teams that pitch very well. And, so if Ali thinks his views that the offense has really come around and they're taking better at bats and this and that and this, all right. I don't share that optimism. Not yet. Maybe a little bit. But we're probably going to know 10 days from now, right?
You're going to find out a lot.
We're going to know. So you want to, if you think this was the start of some turnaround, even though you had a losing road trip, are the standards that far down now? Apparently. It's all right. You got to, whatever message you want to send or statement you want to make, or take a stand at home. No, I didn't mean to play with words there. You're going to take a stand. You're going to say, all right, this is what we are. We're getting this figured out. I mean, all that's great. I like drama. But you have to get it done. What if they have a disastrous homestand? And I know, see, I hate the fact almost that, I do dislike the fact that there's all these bad teams in the National League. You got 3 really super teams, and that's it. And so a team like the Cardinals can hang around and be in the wild card race. It's not good in a way. It's not good. I know the system's set up to give everybody a chance, and there's an extra wild card and all that, but you take a complacent organization like the Cardinals, that's actually bad because they can sit around and convince themselves, well, we're close, instead of dealing with problems in a proactive way, right?
Yes.
What are we going to be saying nine games from now? What are we going to be saying? I wonder.
I don't have a good feeling because I just look at this, Bernie, there's potential, and especially the way you see this team play, like on the last day of series, like you pointed out. I just see a potential for just getting completely embarrassed if a couple things don't go right here. And you just go, oh, my. Because one of the other things that this group hasn't done this year or last year is they have not played well at home. And I don't have a real good pulse on this is why, that's why. There's just so many things that they do poorly at home that, gee whiz, that Baltimore team is really special. I'm looking forward to watching them play. I think the Cubs group is got something going on, and give them another week to get maybe a few more guys sprinkled in healthy and better. And Boston, while they're not a powerhouse, they're right at the 500 mark. They're better than the Cardinals right now. So there's not a lot to go, oh, here's this is the way. I don't see the way, unfortunately.
And I don't even look at I don't really care about the Red Sox record because the Red Sox are bringing in here a team that, let me just do this again real quick. Sorry, but I'm right here. Mm-hmm. They are allowing, the Red Sox are allowing, I think, about 3.5 runs per game. And they're in the top 4 in baseball. Arizona's, no, I got this wrong. Sorry, let me do this again. Something's not right here with my search thing. Sorry. Here I go again. You're going to miss me when I'm gone.
I have search music for you. Would you like search?
The Red Sox giving up 3.53 runs per game, and that's 4th best in the majors. But their ERA is 2.74. That's the best in the majors. 2.74. And so I don't really care what their record is because, in other words, their offense might be a work in progress. And if you look at where they are offensively, they got some work to do, but they're not bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're certainly better. But to me, I'm not going to worry about the Orioles and what the sort of the list of things they're going to have to prove against the Orioles or the Cubs. Let's just worry about the Red Sox first.
Sure.
They got to show they can hit these pitchers because this revolutionary in terms of Boston rebuilding their pitching staff in their pitching approach, their pitching model, their pitching program in a matter of months. They've now got, in terms of performance, the best pitching staff in the majors from top to bottom. If y'all think that you've improved your offense because you beat up on two horrendous set of Anaheim pitchers back to back, and then the third night you decided, well, we're 27 Yankees. We got this figured out now. What's this guy Canning? We got this. Don't worry about this guy. We got this. You know, you come to the ballpark tomorrow with that attitude, you will get embarrassed, as Jim Heuer says. These guys don't give you much.
No, you mentioned, and I just did a quick search. It's Bayo on Friday. Just Cutter Crawford, who I haven't seen pitch, but you mentioned how good they are. He's got a 2.24 ERA, and then we see Nick Pivetta enough to know he can stick it to the Cardinals, and that's what you got on Sunday.
There you go.
So those are your three pitchers that you're going to have to deal with, and it don't feel like a lot of runs are going to be scored there from this Cardinal lineup.
All right, a couple things about this, and we're going to get deeper into it tomorrow. This is like a little warm-up.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When I look at this, who's going to have to? Who are the people that have to do it? And we all agree and Burleson had another good game last night, and we like. And I'm not listing these in any kind of order, but we like where Burleson is. We like the way the rookie catchers have hit, especially after Wilson Contreras went down. I want to talk about Gorman in a minute because I didn't even realize this. I'm going to tell you something about his road trip. It's just crazy, actually. Mason Wynn continues to get his hits. You know, he's not a power hitter. He hits the ball. There's a lot of medium contact. I don't care because the kid's smart, and they're going to pitch him outside. He's going to take it to right field. He stays within himself, and he's really smart. I like the way he's hitting. Nootbaar's coming along, but I just wish he'd be more consistent. But he's drawing walks. He's getting more hits. He had a pretty good road trip. Carlson's, forget it. I have no expectations there. And we covered Burleson. Ciani is actually hitting really well over about the last 12 games. But if you have to rely on him, I mean, that's a big ask.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have 1 second here. Then you have, in addition to these other guys, you have Brendan Donovan, and I know he had a couple hits last night. I'm still dissatisfied that he is sort of caught between two worlds, whether he's a work the count, draw walks, hit to all fields. If you get singles, that's fine. You get one you can turn, get yourself some doubles, that's fine. But don't try to hit home runs because that's not you, and it might be you in time, but it's not now. They need you to get on base because the team's on base percentage stinks. So Donovan can be such a key to this because you go back to the guy that was always setting the table, 381 on base his first two seasons with a nice walk rate. And then you see him, like we talked about so many times, he would hit to all fields. It was really hard to defend him, even when there was still anything goes with the shifts because he'd hit it anywhere. He wasn't trying to pull everything. I don't know what he is as a hitter. I know that the bottom line numbers aren't where they need to be or where the Cardinals need them to be, and I can't believe they'd be where he wants to be himself. He has to make a decision here about what style of hitter he's going to be because he does not have the power to be the guy. It's like, well, yeah, they're just going to ride his power for a week. No. Stop it.
Yeah,
and I don't know who put that in his head. If it's somebody in the organization, somebody he told him, after as good as he was as a rookie, somebody told him going into last year, or maybe even more so this year, we think you can hit 20, 25 home runs, but we got to get you, doing this and doing that. Or was it these like people at Driveline or whatever? Somebody put it in his head that he's a power hitter. And then because of that, he got away from what he does best, which was a really appealing, really positive strength. I find him to be really frustrating as much as I like him. I'm frustrated by this situation he's put himself into. But anybody, I'll say it now, let me be a loudmouth. I'll be fake tough guy. And if somebody in the organization told him to change everything he does, you're a power hitter, son. That person needed to be fired before this. That person needs to pack up and go, as they say on Top Chef.
Yes. 100%. He should take a little bit of what he saw with Matt Carpenter when he got in his leadoff spot the last couple of days. Work the count. Work the on base. Hit some doubles. Hit the ball the other way. That's what this ball club needs right now there, and that's where you're going to be ultra successful. He's proven he can do that. Just keep doing it.
So, Newt Barr's hugely important, but I have nothing to say because we all know – I have nothing to add because we all know what he needs to do. And I just think when he settles in and he's confident, I think we're going to find it. We're going to see a new level for him, but he's got to prove it. He's got to prove it. He's kind of a tease, but he does have it in him. He does a lot of things well. There's a lot of good things in his hitting profile, but it's up to him to put it all together. I think he's getting closer. I really do. So and I mentioned everybody else, I do believe. So then that leaves you with Gorman and Goldschmidt and Arenado. And again, I'll be brief here, but first of all, I got to tell you about the Gorman road trip, because I did not realize this. It was strange. It was really, really strange. But there were some good things in there and some bad things in there. I don't know what the fact that he walked so much is a good sign. I'm thinking it is. But he's still striking out a lot. But anyway, check this out. Okay. He didn't play one game, so he played 6 games of the 7, right? He either struck out 9 times or walked 7 times. So he either struck out or walked in 16 of his 24 plate appearances. One or the other.
It's one or the other, kid. That's all you got.
When he wasn't walking or striking out, he went 5 for 8 with a double homer and 3 RBIs, and he scored 5 runs because he's a good base runner. But this is just kind of nuts. It's a curiosity thing. I don't know that I'm sure it's happened many times. I was not aware of it. Here's a guy goes on the road, and he comes back, and on the road, he had a 29% walk rate and a 37% strikeout rate. But when he actually hit the ball, good things happen.
Yes.
But I'm happy to see him take walks. But yet, because he was taking walks, he didn't strike out any less.
No.
Struck out more, probably.
He did.
He's still an enigma. I still have high hopes for him, and I like him. But I don't know what to make of this. Was his mind getting smarter? What the hell just happened there on these 6 games, right?
That is a bizarre group of numbers that you threw out there.
It is.
You almost want to go, hey, kid, work on the contact. Work on the contact a little bit. You don't have to hit the ball out of the park all the time.
Right.
But this is something I said about him last year, and this is just the hitter he is. He is never going to be able to fight off a pitch to get another one, like a professional hitter would be. At least I don't see that in him right now. That's a pitch, tough one, but if you foul it off, you'll get another one. He just doesn't seem like he's able to grasp that concept at all. It's all or nothing. And when I'm hitting it good. And when I'm not, I'm just going to whiff at everything.
I'm going to check something out tomorrow morning. I'm going to check something out I'm going to see how many pitches he's fouled off. I can find that out. I'm curious.
I just get that sense with him. It's like, woof, there's another striker. There's another. It's like, but when he does hit it, it's going.
And again, I don't want to bore people. You go to the StatCast stuff. Even that is like a big puzzle. You're like, what am I looking at here?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, for example, his hard hit rate is terrible. And I'm like, wow, that's not good.
No.
It's terrible, except his contact when he hits it on the sweet spot, which is the best possible way you can hit a baseball to maximize results. He's got he's in the top 3% of major league hitters in sweet spot contact, which is not a small thing. That's a big deal. Like when he makes contact, 45% of the time, it's on the sweet spot. That's nuts.
That's crazy.
But yet, he also has a whiff swing rate. Like when he takes a swing, how many times does he miss? It doesn't mean he strikes out, but how many times does he miss? Well, when he swings, he misses 40% of the time. But when he makes contact, it's like sweet spot. Boom. It's just nuts. And he's also got, for someone that's who has all these whiff swings, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in the top 18% of major league hitters in walk rate. I mean, this is just...
That's a lot of oddity.
It's like a psychedelic trip or something. It's like a Timothy Leary thing. I don't know what this is. It's a lot of colors. Make it stop. Right?
Yeah.
See, I'm hearkening back to late 60s references, even though I was like 10 years old at the time. I was culturally illiterate. Anyway, I don't know. I just don't know what to make of him. But something big's going to happen. It's something big is going to happen because, there's some kind of storm whipping up here. I just don't know what it's going to do.
It will be an interesting thing. I'm with you on him. He is just so difficult to figure out. But I will say this. I remember last year, he had Kenley Jansen's number in Boston.
Ain't going to happen this year.
You don't think?
No. And let me give you this Cliff Notes version.
Okay.
Because you didn't know.
I'm just reaching for something, but go ahead.
No, because you didn't know this, so I'm not ripping you.
No, that's fine.
This was in this great story I read about how they fix all their pitchers like immediately.
Oh, okay.
So he got off to a bad start, and he was all frustrated. In fact, I think he was in the clubhouse, and when he walked in, because he just got beat up out on the mound again, he was all frustrated. He walked in, he kind of threw his glove, and he's just like, I can't figure this out. I don't know what's wrong. I can't. This is just crazy. I don't get this. And so, one of those numbers people, plus the pitching coach who's really advanced. They had an answer for him, a few hours later, by the time he went to the ballpark the next day. And they told him it was something about his hip. Oh. And the way he was swinging his hips, it was putting him in a spot where he wasn't flexible, so he wasn't getting the hip motion that he needed. It was a little thing. And so he adjusted it. He said, okay, I'll try it. And let me get to the crux of the matter. So, he was walking people. That was a big part of the problem. He was walking a lot of people early on.
Yeah.
So in his last, since they told him, here's what you got to do, his fielding independent ERA is 0.98. They're hitting 179 against him. He has only walked one guy his last 8 appearances. He has struck out hitters at a rate of about 30%. They fixed him because they saw one thing and said, here's what you got to do. All you got to do is this, you're good as new. And he did it, and he's good as new.
That's impressive.
That's how smart they are with pitching.
Wow. That's impressive, especially because he has a lot of motion and stuff going on. And for them to be able to go, here it is, wow, that's impressive.
Another thing about them.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm sort of bleeding into tomorrow a little bit. That's okay. They found something, this new group led by their new president of baseball operation, who was a former major league pitcher, Craig Breslow. He's brilliant. And Bailey, the pitching coach, worked in San Francisco for a long time. Brilliant guy. And he's got acolytes. He's got a couple of assistants he brought with him. And they've got everything for pitchers. Unlike the mom and pop store here in St. Louis. I mean,
that's a good description.
Hell, and I come from a mom and pop store. My grandparents. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So last year, Tanner Houck, the Mizzou kid, they said, well, we're going to make him a starter. They made him a starter, except you had different people coaching him. And he wasn't very good. 21 starts, 5.01 ERA, walks all over the place. Just embarrassing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, nine starts. He's got a complete game shutout, one of them. Wait a minute, what? That doesn't happen.
No.
So he's got a 2.17 ERA. His walk rate has been reduced by half. His strikeout rate is up, but his strikeout walk rate is phenomenal based on what he was, because he couldn't control anything. They fixed him. This new group came in there, and in 5 minutes they fixed him.
Wow.
That's
impressive.
No, I mean, it's amazing. And people say, man, well, you're getting a little fired up about this. Yeah, I am. Because it just proves, this feeds into why we're so frustrated with the Cardinals. They let this stuff lapse. They fell behind the times. They don't know how to diagnose pitchers. They don't know how to fix pitchers. They don't know how to teach them down in the system. They let this thing completely fall apart. And then when you see the Red Sox, a new regime takes over, and it's like, boom, 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 boom. This is what you got to do. Hey, you. This is what you got to do. Hey, you over there. This is what you got to do. Let me show you the charts. Let me show the video. Boom, 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 boom. Fixed. Not there. 42, 43 games this season. Fixed. Best ERA in the majors.
Oh, boy.
Right? You're damn right I'm fired up.
You mentioned Tanner Houck, and I'm reminded when the Cardinals played them in a spring training game, I had the Red Sox feed on in the office one afternoon, and it was either Liberatore or it was Thompson that was pitching, and the Red Sox, and it speaks exactly what you're talking about. The Red Sox announcer said, this guy is like our Tanner Houck, and it describes everything you described about was wrong with him, and they fixed it.
I know. See?
It's amazing.
It's sad.
Boy.
It's sad.